Hello guys, I welcome you in this wonderful video. Today I'm going to be sharing with you some few tips that will improve your entries. I'll be using an example of a trade that I took few days ago. So without any waste of time, let us just get started. If you can see on the screen, I have two horizontal lines, the blue lines, which was my entry price or my entry level. And you can see with this arrow here, that's where I executed my buying trade, and then this yellow line or orange line, it is my stop loss level. And then if I can just show you more info, you can see all the way up there with a green line, which is my target or my take profit. The reason behind this entry and these targets, it is the trend on the daily time frame, which was my main focus because I wanted to take advantage of the long-term move or of this primary trend. That's why I bought, and that's why my target is all the way up there, because this is more like a very, very long-term trade, you know? So let me just go back to the 4 hour and explain to you the steps that I took when I analyzed, and then share with you also the mistakes that not only me commit but a majority of traders commit. So let's go back on the 4 hour. Before we continue, please note that this video is sponsored by Delta Exchange, a cryptocurrency trading platform that is not only limited to trading, it also offers investment opportunities, meaning you'll be able to earn without any effort. So if you're interested in digital coins, be free to check them out. The links are in the description below. I've been sharing a lot about entries and analyzing and so on. And one thing that I always emphasize on, it is observing momentum and strength. If you can see here, you've seen that it's an uptrend. So don't be confused when I show you more info. Don't be confused as if it's a range or a downtrend. This is just the corrective wave that we'll be focusing into. So if you can see, let me just if you can see this corrective wave going down with this blue line, that's where our main analysis should take place, because that's where we want to buy from. That's where we want to begin the impulsive move. And if you analyze a corrective wave, there are few things that you should pay attention into, which is the strength, obviously, which is the primary one, and then secondly, which is the pattern or the flow of this corrective wave. If you can connect the highs of this corrective wave, you can see that it gave us something like a channel. If you can just connect both the supporting and the resisting highs and lows, so we can see that we have a channel going down. And then what happened here, the channel was broken, we received a minor high which is a little bit higher than this one or at the same point, and then before we received this high, we can see here we have a low which is a little bit higher than that previous one. So I'm explaining to you my process or the way I looked at this price. With this low, and with then a new low which is a little bit higher, and then with this high which is a little bit higher than that one. So if you can see deeper in this nested pattern, you can see that even in it we have some kind of an upward flow. So that's what I looked at. And then going backwards, it's not only what happened here in the corrective wave, the minor breakout and the upward strength, but also looking at where price was here through this low. You can see that this is some kind of a very, very important level. If I'll extend, so much action took place here. The main action or the main scenario that took place in that level is this what happened here. That's where the buyers took the market with strength. So if you can look at here, let me just change the color. If you can look at here, we can see that there was a little bit of a pause or in transition in the price, and then price shoot all the way up with huge momentum. So what tells us is that all the way from this area going above, it is buyers momentum, because it is buyers territory, because that's where they took the price and gave us this beautiful strong impulsive wave. So all the way above this area, it is buyers territory, confirmed even by these two highs. So that's one of the major reasons again. And then if you look at here, price bounced from this area, and then after bouncing from that area, it then gave us this breakout, which caught some attention, and then some smaller retest. And the reason I then took this decision, I was like, okay, this is some kind of a retest happening here, and I'm not expecting price to go a little bit below. And then the most important thing that I did is that I didn't just place my stop loss below this area, but I placed my stop loss far below it, so that I make sure that I'm not in a position where my target will be just smashed easily. So I placed it below even this territory, so keep that in mind. I placed it even below this bias territory to make sure that, okay, if price happens to go down, maybe price will not break this area and go below, because below this area or below this region, it is now seller's territory. That's the reason behind the stop loss being in this area. And indeed, we can see that price is now doing something. If I can just show you more information, we can see that price now is doing something interesting. It is going up, and it failed to break this area. However, it's not the final conclusion. It can still go all the way below. But we can see the reason behind the stop loss being here is that I make sure that, okay, I put it below the territory, or I put it below the border, which distinguish between the buyers and the sellers territory, so that when price breaks this territory going down, it might mean that, okay, now the price is controlled by the sellers. And even okay, let me not erase some of, or let me just erase them. I'm sorry if you won't follow up, but I just want to show you something. And if you can see the minor pattern which I showed you on the 4-hour time frame, you can see that here on the 1 hour it is a little bit visible. It is more visible. And if I can highlight even the main breakout, let me just do that like so. If you can highlight the main breakout, you can see even it is a little bit more visible. Price broke and then gave us a high, and also gave us this low here. So what was wrong about this analysis? So let's go to the thing that I overlooked, or to the thing that I didn't pay attention into when I was analyzing this. If I go back to the 4-hour, and I want to make an example with the previous wave, because this is something that I usually talk about a lot. We can see on this previous corrective that this previous corrective, it is made up of two flows, but the main one is just, you can just indicate it with this line. It is going all the way there, but it is made of different flows. You can see it started aggressively. Let me change the color, and then it changed the way it was flowing into a more slower flow. So if I can just indicate through channels, let me just put one there and duplicate it like that. Although we won't have a significant channel on the first one, but you can see the picture that, okay, this corrective wave started aggressively and then slowed down, and then boom, that's where the market started to go up like this. So we can see that there is some kind of momentum, and then there is some kind of slowdown, and then there is some kind of an impulsive. So these are the steps that price usually takes. And if you watch most of my videos, I usually say that a wave should not take you by surprise, meaning the market, you shouldn't take a trade from a wave that just happened from nowhere. So you should make sure that when you take a trade or when you make a decision, you see a transition, meaning you see the sellers handing over the price to the buyers. As you can see here, the sellers were taking control, and then you can see them losing momentum slowly, and then all of a sudden they are handing the price over to the buyers, meaning everything that happens here, you see it clearly. You see the strength declining, you see the buyers strength accumulating, and then it's easy for you to make a decision, maybe somewhere around here, maybe in this breakout here, or in this breakout of this slow move somewhere here, because you already have this minor trend which confirms that, okay, the sellers which are stronger here, they're now getting a little bit weaker. That's the same thing that should have happened here. We can see this main corrective, as I indicated, going down, and we see this minor breakout. However, this minor breakout didn't even complete itself, because the pattern that I pay attention into, it was this low here, which is a little bit not an important low. Why? Because it is still inside the channel, it is still inside the corrective. It was better if maybe I received some kind of a low, maybe somewhere outside the corrective or outside the channel, maybe something like price going all the way up and then doing something like this, giving me a low that is clearly outside the channel, and then it was easy for me to take advantage of that opportunity, because it was gonna be obvious that indeed, okay, the buyers, they are now demonstrating strength. Why? Because they were able to give us a starting point outside the region of the sellers, because this channel, it is a region of the sellers where the sellers are are flowing, or how the sellers are flowing in terms of momentum. So a pattern that takes place inside this region, it shouldn't deceive you to think that, okay, now momentum is going up. It is better if the low, or if those buying patterns occur outside this channel, then it was easy for you to say, okay, let me make a decision and go all the way up. So here the main takeaway is that, okay, make sure that when you make a decision, wait for a transition to be formed, meaning the price should go down like this and then start to slow down and then boom, going all the way up. So you shouldn't make a decision just from maybe the corrective going up, down, and then the price show you a minor breakout and then you make a decision from there. However, if you make a decision from there, you should at least do what I did here by making sure that your stop loss is not as close enough to the entry. But obviously that will depend on your account size. So you can see here that, okay, my stop loss is in a little bit of a reasonable position because it is below the territory of the buyers, which I showed you earlier with the region that was somewhere around here. So you can see that my stop loss is below that area, and then if my stop loss is matched, at least it will be a sign to me that, okay, now maybe the sellers, they're still continuing with their movement. So I hope this is making sense. I'm not gonna make it long. Let me just leave it here. Thank you guys for watching.